G'day, this is Captainoob, and this is a Bloodied laser rifle with bullets exploding for area damage as a secondary legendary effect. So an extremely powerful legacy weapon we've got here, as bullets exploding for area damage doesn't drop on any energy weapon anymore, and perhaps one day these will be removed for the game, so let's enjoy it while it lasts. So an exceedingly rare weapon, and Bloodied and explosive is great on ballistic weapons, but when it comes to laser weapons, which have a fire rate of that, it's insane. Not to mention we'll be firing 4 bullets per shot out of this beam splitter here, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. But firstly, I'd like to thank Sinister Hand for actually allowing me to borrow this. He got one, is like, hey, I have this, you make a video on it. I was like, yes, thank you. Anyways, Sinister Hand made a funny video about me. It was like an exposed video, but it kind of wasn't. It was just a bit of a meme video, which was funny. It was a really good video. You should watch it if you haven't seen it already. But some people got cross at him for some reason, whether they wanted to see an actual exposed video because I've got some sort of problem with me, or whether they were just defending me because they enjoy my content and feel attached to it. I don't fucking know why, but it's good that you have my back if you do, but don't worry about going after cunts on the internet on my behalf. Cunts on the internet don't bother me, to be honest. Anyways, so back to the attachments of this thing. I've got a calibrated capacitor because this thing was fitted with a gamma wave, but honestly, that's an extra 1 or 2 points of damage when you land a shot. We're going to be killing things so fast that we won't actually see too much of that anyway, and compared to the calibrated capacitor, we can get better damage with criticals, and it actually adds a little bit more to the condition bar. True automatic barrel, just to tighten that spread, keeps the damage nice and tight, and forceful stock is there to make this condition bar go up. It does increase your hip fire a little bit, so normally I chuck on a true stock there, but you know what, I like that extra little bit of I mean, that's a huge condition bar. A reflex sight, obviously, for targeting and VATS and everything, and a beam splitter makes you fire 4 explosive projectiles instead of 1, which will cut down on your condition bar per bullet significantly, but we've got everything spec'd right or set up right to give us the biggest condition bar we can. So hopefully we'll be able to fire this quite a lot until it breaks, and when it does break, I've got a bunch of repair kits that I haven't used from killing queens, so we'll keep on going with that, and a hot rod flames paint to match the color of my rum tim that I'm currently holding and drinking. So 41 damage, that's pretty good, but we can boost that again with Commando, and also Commando. Got Tank Killer now because energy weapons are affected by that. Normally I'd have something like Ground Pounder, and although it sucks that I'm going to be losing out on some reload speed, it's going to be fine. Demo Expert is there for the unlisted ballistic damage, and Bloody Mess boosted even more, and we get 75 out of our laser gun, which is pretty stock standard. Just the stuff under the hood that you can't see with the particular bullets exploding for area damage not showing up on the weapon card. But let's get to Nerd Rage and see what happens. So I've heard that having a lot of people on your friends list in this game just causes a lot of lag. I can add you, you're a good bloke. Oh, I can't because this game is just special sometimes, but I don't think I've really ever had a problem with this. You can go away. Like, exactly how many friends are we talking about to actually allow the lag to happen? Or just maybe it's my beastly PC that keeps this thing going? I don't know. Quickly, Dave Mustaine. I'm angry again. We must write a song. So now we're doing 234, which is pretty good. And to test the power of this weapon, there's a Gucking Fulper over here, and he needs to go. Yeah, I've also got the weapon repairing perk because, you know, it's good. And basically, I've heard that triggers, like, with one shot again. Like, it triggers per trigger pull. So what I might do is just use this thing as basic, like, a semi-auto shotgun. And only go full auto when I really mean business. Okay, so this might be tough. I'm expecting to die a few times. And already, even though I only fired, I don't know, maybe 19, 20 bullets, this thing is already seeing, like, I mean, the condition bar has gone down rather significantly compared to anything else. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough intelligence points to pour even more into something like, oh Jesus, they are coming at me. Problem now is that I can't marsupial jump to get away from my issues because I'll just bump my noggin on the ceiling and then go straight down to earth again, where I'll be wrecked by ghouls, but I can probably hold this corridor nicely. I might have to play this a little bit slowly because this is a little bit... Oh, what the fuck is that? What? What? That was like a sleeper, but he was... Okay. Did anyone get his number plate? Like, he was definitely speeding. Anyways, hang on, I'm not dressed up as the cop Winter, never mind. But anyways, the good thing about a weapon like this is the amount of damage that you're doing. You'll only mostly need to take one shot at your enemies to actually do the trick. And, oh, here's where the dude went. Okay, he just flung himself into the stairs, and we're going to get ourselves detected very, very quickly here. Now, unlike regular laser or explosive weapons in this game, what happens with these weapons, since there's a lot of explosive projectiles thrown in the one spot and it's not a shotgun, you actually get a lot of range and damage from your explosions, which means you can actually finish ghouls off in one shot with nothing but splash damage. As you can tell, I'm hitting him for 192. I assume times 4. Uh-oh, there's some behind me. So here come the boys. I'm gonna keep on shooting him. We're controlling this pretty well. The ability to one-shot stuff is very, very useful indeed. Now we're kinda screwed if we can't kill these guys quick enough, but like I was talking about before, since you don't have to be extremely precise with an explosive weapon when it comes to using a laser gun like this, well, you can actually do pretty well. And we don't have anything like Tormentor to, you know, cripple these ghouls. Fucking bullshit, I totally shot him. We don't have anything like Tormentor to cripple their limbs like Enforcer, but I imagine that would synergize quite well. And at the very least, we're over Nerd Rage threshold, so just a couple of netcode issues I think led to my death there. So he was already jumping in the air, but when he actually hit me, so that was kind of odd. Not really a fan of this game sometimes and its dodgy netcode. Okay, I can definitely hear him. Oh, you're up there, eh? No problem. Just tap on the trigger, hopefully you get somewhere near him, and they will fall apart very, very easily. Now, in terms of however many ghouls are left, I feel like we'll be right just to do that like this. I imagine if I was to just trigger every single ghoul in here and have them all run at me at once, one big holding down of the trigger, all 21 fusion cells away, I think I would clean them up pretty nicely there. Okay, experiment time. I've read a comment by Clark, who's a Fallout fan, and he said that if I activate this, well, something might happen. Holy shit, I'm hearing ghouls. Oh my god, the tools are actually back. Yeah, right. He was right. He was correct. Look at this. We get an extra spawning of tools in the building, which I guess is just this lot. But potentially you could probably get legendaries out of that, so good call. And I'm guessing I have to wait until this actually circulates through. Or could I possibly just boot up a different department and have that spawn more ghouls in here? Don't really know, but yep, there's a little bit of a last hurrah you can get with ghouls in here if you've cleared everything out, which is very interesting. Yeah, potential for legendaries in there as well. Looking a bit ghoulish yourself there, Winter. Okay, let's kill Spawn next. I'm taking a quick look at the laser gun. As you can tell, it's at about 150% health, which is not too bad considering what kind of monsters we've been through. And it's about the same now because I got a lucky proc of what's it called? Lucky Break. No, that's the armor one. You know what I'm talking about. It popped up on screen. Ooh, Gamma Gun. Hopefully I can get some mods for that. Hang on, this ain't my gunslinger character. From a big-ass super mutant to many little ones, and I forgot to show you my buffs. I mean, they don't change, but just for reference, all unyielding, and we've got bird bones. That's not... no... Eagle Eyes, that's the one. I knew it had something to do with bird, but crit damage plus 25%. Synergizes pretty well with the calibrated capacitor despite us not using anything like better criticals or anything. Too bad my luck tree is a little bit spent at 9. If I had a little bit more points to go around, I might chuck some in luck. And of course it's the bloody mutant hound that I get the legendary on. So as you can tell, we're just basically nuking everything. It's quite easy. And what did you give me? a piece of crap. Now, funnily enough, when you do shoot a turret, you probably would have noticed that there are fewer perceptive, but it still has the laser impacts on it, which would make it shoot like the little laser beams reflect off it as it reflect. You see it in Fallout 4 when you attack Milex too, which is good. Looks like there's a secondary source of super mutants here, which I managed to. I believe it was a warlord, but I managed to one-shot him there just with splash damage. So that's what really sets this thing apart from any other explosive weapon, even shotguns, because you get that range, you get the massive rate of fire, and if you've got Bloodied onto that as well, it's just insane. So I can gank people from probably out here, and as you can tell, okay, that was a skirmisher, so the spread on these things on the pallets is like, it's nothing. You can snipe with this. It's ludicrously powerful. So obviously this is why it's a PvP's choice weapon. Not sure if they'd want to go with Bloodied. Probably would, because you get so much extra damage, and if you can hover, there you can see the lasers bouncing off the turret there. But even if you are floating around 50% health, so you wouldn't be just one-shotted by stuff, I feel like you could get away with it. And taking a look at that damage once more, 319. Now, as much as I like my Bloodied Fire at Handmade, this is definitely feeling like a equally powerful weapon. Shut up, Discord. Do you reckon I could do this without sneaking? I reckon I couldn't, but I'm going to give it a go, and if shit hits the fan, I will start sneaking. It appears that I can one-shot. This guy, maybe I can't one-shot. That guy blatantly survived that, which is odd. But anyways, we'll keep on going. We'll see how we do against this lot. Now, hopefully Serendipity will have my back during this whole fight, because if I'm not going to be sneaking, I'm going to get shot a lot. Thankfully, we can basically just look at our enemies, shoot them once, and they're dead, so that makes it easy. Now I'm sneaking here, but if I was standing up, I couldn't reach him. Although I could have shot his legs, but I'd rather go center mass, because even though you can get ludicrously powerful and accurate shots, you still kind of want to point your gun to where the target is, because, well, if you miss, only get some of the pellets in, some of the very outer of the explosion in, it doesn't really do much. And I'm not sure what's the difference between this and a regular bullet explosion when it comes to ballistic weapons, but it just feels a whole lot more powerful. And for what reason? Possibly it's tied into the legacy effect of this thing, and how maybe ballistic damage is slightly altered. There's a lot of angry doggers in here. Yeah, ballistic damage is slightly altered by or slightly reduced to, you know, make up for the extra explosive damage after they decided it was a bad idea to have it do 100% of extra damage. There we go. Keeping above that 100% this far in, which is fairly decently impressive. If I can manage to use this without it breaking once, it just jumped up a little bit again. Not really. I'm not really sure whether this thing works repairing it when it's over 100% already. Maybe it just sits there. I'm not really sure. Where are you going, mate? Can't escape my wrath. You can if you stand close enough, though. That's the only way to escape it. But you've only got Bethesda pathing, so I think I'll be alright. So, yeah, I'm not really sure whether... I really should know the names of this perk, but I don't. The weapon repair on hit, that one. I'm not sure whether it actually boosts your condition bar above much, but the reason that I have it at rank 1 is I can't seem to get it to proc at rank, and I know I'm sneaking right now, but I don't care at this point. It's kind of just second nature to me to just drop on the ground when I'm not constantly being shot at, but there's no real reason for it if I'm already detected anyway. And just let me make a mental note of any ash piles made during this. You'd think this would just be leaving ash piles everywhere because it's just completely overkill. But it's fairly clean. And I wish I could tell you exactly how much damage, but since the damage is a lot per projectile and it's all stacked on top of each other, it's kind of hard to tell. I could give you a rough estimate, but okay, it's getting a little bit dire now. We just got ourselves out of that pretty bad situation, which is good. The ammo capacity on this isn't the greatest. I'm guessing if I was to use a gamma wave capacitor... What the hell? Did you just hello there on me? You can't do Star Wars references. That's my job. And despite all this weapon's power, I think that the BE is slightly faster because I don't have to back off whenever there's any enemies. Also, I'm I'm below the food threshold now to actually get myself some extra health, so I'm just going to eat a bit of cave cricket. Now, I've tactically chosen cave cricket because that extra energy resistance will stop me from damaging myself so much if it is energy damage that I'm throwing out with the explosions, which perhaps it is. I'm not really sure how it works. The weapon card is rather deceptive when it comes to things like this. I'm still not sure how that other super mutant killed me before, because normally they'd drop... Maybe he just dropped down whilst I wasn't looking there. It's not a very good place to hold out from, because you back yourself into a corner. There's cover there, but you just back yourself into a corner. So the best thing to do is probably just to charge through and hope that they miss you on the run past. We done? Yeah, all the combat music went away, and the super mutants are now all giblets on the floor. I can say with confidence that we are done. Now, there was a legendary somewhere around here, I think. Someone in the comments will let me know if I did miss one, though. Alright, so we're out here during the crab section, and the Violet Queen's already out, so, interesting. Maybe someone ran past here and triggered her and then kind of ran off, or something else happened. Something else aggroed her. But she isn't scorched, so it's not a random scorched beast that just wandered up here and started killing stuff. Anyways, we'll keep on going. Ooh, I think she knows where I am. That was wasted a critical on you. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now, as good as the TTK is on a sneak attack critical bloodied explosive or bloodied fire rate handmade, that was all without sneak attack criticals, and I just obliterated. So there's a person on Reddit that I owe an apology to. Someone posted my video on Reddit saying, "Hey, Captainoob reviewed my favorite weapon." It's like, that's pretty good, but I reckon my BE laser does more. And I was like, yeah, right, mate, but you know what? I'm gonna eat those words right now, because this thing is definitely... It just seems to have more damage, but there are limitations, obviously. Alright, this is real make or break stuff here. If this thing does break, then it is break. But if it doesn't, then it's make. That's how it works, right? But anyways, since this thing is so efficient on its damage per bullet, we don't have to expend a lot of ammo to actually kill stuff. Well, it's pretty good. You'll notice these Scorched Beasts sometimes tend to not only teleport from thin air, but they also just like kind of shrug off explosive damage. If you get them to land on the ground, you can bounce splash damage off the ground, which is an effective tactic, but I'm hitting them for generally what I'd see on a regular land creature. I just think it's because they're moving, and the explosions aren't really placed exactly where they're actually aiming, or where I'm actually hitting them, because they're moving through the air and netcode is difficult. Either that, or they've got some sort of unique explosive resistance, which I have observed on the Scorched Beast Queen. Okay, you can stop that now. And I actually end up getting killed. There's the kicker of not having stealth right there, and I'm over capacity, so luckily enough I was near a fissure site to actually spawn back here, but I would have been fucking pissed if I had to go right back. So note to this Deathclaw over here, he's albino, and he's going to die very, very quickly, so... Oh my god, one crawled out of here. See, look at all that damage that I didn't do from this, so... What gives? Obviously we managed to recover there with a little bit of cheeky VATS usage, but still... I'm getting hammered here, and this is where it fails. Everything else is absolutely... You're good. You don't have to worry about it. But I'm hitting him for fucking 8 damage. 8 damage! I'm gonna get fucking destroyed here. So, yeah, this is where it fails. It is definitely broken right here. So, I'm going to just continue to fucking... Fuck off, you bastard. I'm gonna continue to take out these guys, and things are gonna be breaking left, right, and center. So, this is where this thing fails. And the versatility factor of being completely fucking garbage against Scorched Beasts makes this thing a very unattractive weapon to use. Although that final shot that I got on that Scorched Beast seemed to do good damage. And was that a critical that just... No, okay. I think I managed to knock off a little bit of health from that guy, which he immediately recovered. So there's just something about these bats, man. They don't play nicely with weapons like this. And there she blows. We don't have the real stealth capabilities to do this, so I'm going to have to execute a quick field repair here T. Basic, fine, whatever. I got that with a pack anyway. Oh, I actually back into caution. Thanks, thing. Escape artist. At least I ash piled that guy. That was pretty satisfying. But yep, that's where the usefulness of this thing ends against bats. Now, since bats are the biggest, baddest enemies, at least, of this recording in Fallout 76, you've got a bit of a problem there. If you can't go well against the bats, well, there's a big endgame boss that, you know, would like to laugh at you if you attack her with puny laser guns. So it's a tough thing because it's so good against everything else, but it just falls apart with Scorch Beast. Whether it's a problem with the server thing, if we get private servers where there's no actual server to connect to, it might actually work better. What was that? Not sure. But anyways, so for that reason, it's terrible against Scorch Beast, and despite how good it is otherwise, I'd still say that the Bloodied Handmade with faster fire rate is much better. It's going to be Revenge of the Crabs, is it? No, it is not. So there's my verdict on it. It's still a great weapon. Definitely the best legacy laser gun I've ever used. So definitely going to keep it. But, I mean, at least if Sinister Hand doesn't want it. But, yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on it. It's not without limitations. So, and how much, yeah, obviously the condition bar is a thing. It is alleviated somewhat by its ability to do just massive amounts of damage. But just falls apart against the bats. No good. Thank you very much for watching, guys.